Well, it's very nice to be here with all of you. I miss Ananda Pune. I look forward to the time when Divine Mother lets me come and visit. Um, I had so many good years there and so many dear friends there. So let's see when Divine Mother will let that happen, but I look forward to that. So I'll read today from the Gita. This is chapter 9. And this is 9, verse 2. The way to this realization is the highest of sciences, the secret of secrets, the essence of all Dharma. Through yoga methods, easy to perform, this way bestows the direct perception of truth. So it's easy to say that Krishna here is speaking about Kriya Yoga, that this is the highest of sciences, and this is easy to perform, and this way bestows the direct perception of truth. But we can't just think of Kriya Yoga as a huffing and puffing exercise, that we have to think of it of a way of offering ourselves to God and receiving God's light back into our own being. But just to think of meditation, whether you want to call it Kriya Yoga or the whole package or whatever, as the highest science, well, if you like science, then that seems like a wonderful thing, that you can skip your way right to the top. If you want nothing to do with science, that's fine too, but we can think that meditation is the most exalted of any activity. It's the highest thing that we can perform. And sometimes when I get a little restless and I think that I don't want to meditate, that I like to remember that meditation is the most exalted activity that mankind can perform, and that it is the way that we can gain control over our mind, over our energy, over ourselves. And indeed, that's the only thing that there is for us to learn to control. Everything else is like a child playing with a doll, that it's the right for the child to play with a doll, for when she grows up, that she may be taking care of a child, and that will give her the experience. And so every responsibility and duty that we're given outwardly is for us to learn how to do it calmly, how to do it peacefully, how to do it with God's energy, so that ultimately we can learn to completely take charge of ourselves. But obviously it's not easy to take charge of ourselves, that we have habits, tendencies from past incarnations that we've brought over, and we simply don't want to let them go, that we think that they're giving us so much joy. And in a way, some of these things do give us joy, and that's fine, that we can become more refined by letting go of certain things that we know aren't working. And then ultimately, as we meditate every day, that we can realize that really the highest thing that we want is God. And this is the way to God realization. We can't fight this battle of Kurukshetra all in one moment. Yes, philosophically speaking, time doesn't exist, and we will get there all in one moment in the blink of an eye. But practically speaking, that slowly we will, one realization at a time, realize that God is better than X or Y or Z that we used to enjoy, and that really we just want to spend more time in the quiet of our own soul with God. Master put it this way, that once we taste fresh, good cheese, that we'll no longer want stale cheese. You know, in America, they eat a kind of cheese called Roquefort, and it has these blue veins of mold, actually, that grow in it. And Master was at some fancy dinner with friends, and they served him. They're saying it has this, here's this delicacy. And he was only used to paneer. And so to eat a cheese that was very old with mold growing on it, he thought, oh no. And in fact, he had a little bit of it to be polite, and his stomach itself was saying, If you put any more of this inside, that everything's going to come out. We want nothing to do with this rock fruit cheese. And Master said, I'm in charge here. I'm in charge of every body cell. You have to obey, stomach, that we're going to have some more rock fruit cheese and you're going to like it. And then he said from that day on that it no longer bothered him. But he would often talk about this: once you taste the fresh cheese, you'll no longer want the stale cheese. And so once we taste the bliss of meditation, of calming down our energy that's habituated towards going outside and bringing it inside, and remembering that there's something inside of us that's very secret, that's very precious, that we'll want to spend more time in that space. In fact, this reading says that this realization is the secret of all secrets. And growing up as a child, I felt that adults, they must know something that I don't know as a child. They must be on to some secret that's keeping them happy and joyful and running around all of the time. And as I grew up, I realized that the adults didn't really know some secret, that they were just kind of on autopilot, doing the best that they knew how, but that they didn't know. But somewhere in my heart, I felt that there must be someone who knows some little secret about life that keeps him happy all the time. And when I met Swami Kriyananda, I knew that he had this secret, and that it was so secret that he couldn't just tell me with words what it was all about, that I had to learn how to calm down my mind and be able to listen with my heart, that I had to learn how to live more in my heart so that I could have more intuition, so that I could learn how to listen on a subtle level. And I think we all want to listen on a subtle level to God, but there's stages to that, and we have to develop our intuition, we have to test it. And as we do that, we come to realize that there is a great secret, and that there are some saints who know that great secret. And that great secret, it's keeping them happy all the time. That, like the alcoholic who's taking a little sip here and there when no one's looking, that the saint is taking a little sip of God's bliss and no one can look, because it's an inside job, that it's an inner giving of our heart, that it's an inner understanding of how to use our energy. Most of us, we misuse God's given energy. But the saints, there's no misuse there, that they're only using that energy to help others and to take those little sips every once in a while to keep puffing up their own inner joy so that they can give that joy to others. And that's their secret, but they can't just give it to us. That we have to learn to understand who they are, who we truly are. We have to get rid of all of these definitions, these self-definitions. We have to get rid of all of these attachments. And it comes with Kriya Yoga, and it comes with devotion. It comes with asking ourselves, do I love this stale cheese more? Or Krishna, or however you choose to love God? Do I love you more? And really thinking about that. And then we realize, yeah, we have problems, but we give those to God too. I want to tell a story. So long ago, in ancient India, there was a Gurukul, where the guru was, and here he taught all of his students. Really, they were disciples, but it was also somewhat of a school. And so even in ancient India, there was chuti, that the school didn't go on and on day after day forever. So the children, that they were given some break. And so the guru called them all together and said, before you go off on holiday for a while, I want to bring you all here, and please listen to, I have one final request. So they all lovingly came together. And then he said, okay, this request, it's a little strange, but I need you all to do something. that I've set up this path, so please, I want you all to go running and run hard, and you'll run for a while, and then there'll be some water. You'll need to swim in that water. And then after you swim, that there's a dark place. You'll need to go into that dark place, and then please all come back here. So students, will you do this? And they're like, yes, Guruji, yes, yes, of course. Okay, all right, everybody ready? Take off running in that direction. Ready? And then come back here. Ready? Go. So everyone went running in that direction, and everyone was just together. They were all doing well. Then they swam through the water. Then they went in that dark, dark place. And then there all the confusion began. And people were bumping into one another. And in that dark place, there were these little stones. And these stones were sharp and were cutting people's feet. And all kinds of confusion was going on in there. And so then they came back one by one to the Guru, and Guruji just said, okay, sit down, let's let the others return. Okay, everyone sit down. And then he said, once everyone finally came back, so you all left as one group, but you came back individually. This story has deep meaning. That we all are going to come back individually, one by one, to God when we understand the essence of this story. So, Guruji said, you all left as one, but now you're coming back one by one. What happened? And can anyone tell me? So one of the disciples says, yes, Guruji, yes. Once we went in that place of darkness, that there were these stones, they were cutting our feet. It was just confusion. Some people were picking up the stones and putting them in their pockets. Other people were hurting and yelling, and it was very difficult in that dark place. And Guruji said, oh. Then he said, well, people were putting them in their pockets. How strange. Any of you who were putting these stones in your pocket, please come forward, come up. So a few students came up, and Guruji said, why were you putting the stones in your pocket? And so one of them said, oh, well, we came to the dark place first, and we realized how painful this was. It was cutting our feet. So we wanted not those who would come after us, we didn't want them to suffer. So we decided to pick up these stones so that they wouldn't have to suffer. And Guruji said, oh, very good. Please reach into your pockets. And so they reached into their pockets, and what did they pull out? These sharp stones were diamonds. And Guruji said, this is all a lesson for you, that those who, even when you're suffering, you think of others, and you think, how can I make the way easier for them? That you will gain great blessings and great rewards. And Guruji said, it was actually I myself who put those diamonds in the cave to see how you would behave and what would happen during these tough times. And I'm very pleased with those of you who have thought of others during the darkness. So remember that it's Krishna, it's God himself who has given us all of the difficulties in life. Why has he given us these difficulties? So that we can become stronger, so that we can become stronger in him. How do we become stronger in him? By not thinking of ourselves, by thinking of other people, by serving other people, by attending the satsangs, by doing everything that we can, by practicing Kriya, by chanting, by seeing how can we get more and more in tune, even when it hurts, even when it's painful. That's the thing to do. Get more in tune when it's hurting. Not say, well, the spiritual path thing, it's a little tough. I think I'm just going to take a day off. No, there is no day off. We just had a little fun satsang with Shurjo Narayani. And Narayani was telling all of the monks here, you have no idea how hard it was to live with Swamiji. That there was no me time, no relaxing time. I'm going to just take it easy time. That there was only time Swamiji made you go, and see how much energy that you could put out. And that was his way. And now Swamiji's not with us in the body, but we still need to see how much energy we can put out to serve others. And I know it's COVID, we're all on Zoom, all that. Yeah. We all have our families to serve. We all can smile at our neighbors, that we can feed the dogs out there who might be starving. There's 101 ways, 101 things that we can do. It's about the attitude of, are we doing it to serve God? Are we feeling that it's God who's serving through us? And this attitude, thinking of Krishna all the time, thinking of Master Guru, thinking of this lineage, thinking of God, plus Kriya Yoga, that you cannot fail. So fire up that devotion. Don't let it go. Keep fanning it, just like the fire. Sometimes when it starts going out, we put on a little more fuel and we keep fanning that devotion, and keep up your love for God and keep doing your Kriya Yoga, and you cannot miss the boat, that you will make it. And we will make it. We will serve each other. We will love God in one another, and that we will find God together. So thank you all.